I said on the radio that I didn't think it would last, though.
What, me and him?
Yeah,
Why?
because you're about 25.
No one expected a storm like this to hit the industry this late in the game. Not after all these years. Not after the rumors had gone quiet, the blogs had moved on, and the internet seemed to forget that some secrets never truly stay buried. But today, at 49 years old, Blu Cantrell has set the entire celebrity world on fire again. Not with a song, not with a comeback, but with a revelation she claims has been haunting her for decades. And what she's exposing now? Well, let's just say nobody was prepared. Because according to Blu, Jay-Z hid more than the world ever knew. And the story behind Blue Ivy's birth, the secrecy, the timing, the whispers about Cathy White, and the sudden silence that followed, it's all coming back to the surface. And Blu says the truth was never what the public believed, not even close.
Have you ever kissed Jay-Z romantically?
No. No, I can't answer that. I can't answer that.
Oh, she's touching him off the neck! What? You see?
Why do people not want to let the Jay-Z Blu Cantrell thing go?
Because, honey, that was a fabulous little high point in your
Well,
life.
what about Beyonce and Jay-Z? That's fabulous.
For years, fans speculated. For years, insiders hinted. But now, Blu Cantrell says she's done staying quiet. She's ready to talk. And what she's saying could rewrite everything people thought they understood about the Carters, their empire, and how far certain people allegedly went to protect an image that still stands untouched today. But before we get into the twist that nobody saw coming, we need to go back, way back, to where the roads first crossed, where the whispers first started, and where the story stopped being just a rumor and became something much darker. Long before this new eruption, Blu Cantrell had her own rise, her own spotlight, and her own fight to survive an industry that plays favorites and punishes women the moment they're seen as inconvenient. She wasn't a background figure or some nameless voice in a studio. She had talent, charisma, and a breakout moment that set her apart.
I said on the radio that I didn't think it would last, though.
What, me and him?
Yeah,
Why?
because you're about 25.
Why, he needs somebody younger than
At
that?
the end of the day, yeah.
Why did he say that?
Because I think at the end of the day, a younger, less savvy to the ways of the world broad.
Somebody a little bit more naive.
When she hit the scene in the early 2000s with her unmistakable vocals and her bold, soulful sound, the industry was watching closely. She wasn't the typical packaged star. She was raw, emotional, unpredictable, the kind of artist who could shake the table without even trying. Her breakout single shot up the charts, earned nominations, and put her name in rooms she never imagined stepping into. And that's when the invitations began. Industry parties, late-night meetings, studio sessions that weren't always just about music. And in that world, the world behind the cameras, power didn't flow through talent alone. It flowed through the men who controlled the doors. That's where the connection begins. That's where people started noticing how often Blu was seen around certain circles, including the ones Jay-Z moved in before the Carter empire was even a blueprint. The chemistry rumors came later. Those whispers started quietly, a little too quietly. Rumors about secret parties, private meetings, and a behind-the-scenes bond that wasn't meant for public eyes.
Blu. The first Blu. Not they daughter Blu Cantrell. You were singing my fool. And you made a choice to work with someone, and you probably didn't realize how nefarious he was when you got involved with him. I didn't. Blu, it's time to talk. It's time for you to sing again. Because I know you still got the chops. You got the gift. Just like me. Jay-Z worked very hard to erase you and me. Just like he did Elle. Just like he did his relationship with R. Kelly. Just like he did his relationship with Aaliyah. Blu, it's time to...
And every time Blu tried to distance herself from those rumors, something happened that pulled her right back in. She didn't talk much back then, not publicly, not the way she talks now. But when she finally opened up years later about feeling cornered, misunderstood, and pushed out of her own career, people paid attention. And the timing of everything, the rise, the silence, the sudden halt, made fans wonder if something bigger was happening behind the scenes. And then, the name that still sends a chill through the internet, Cathy White. Cathy wasn't a singer. She wasn't an artist climbing the charts. She was a young woman allegedly linked to Jay-Z long before the world saw him as half of the most powerful couple in music. And every time her name resurfaced, it resurfaced with questions that were never fully answered. The whispers tied Cathy to a story that never settled, to a tragedy that left more questions than closure, and to rumors of a pregnancy that some people still believe changed the entire course of Jay-Z's future.
Deal. By the time all of the ink was dry, she was just shy of being legal. But that didn't stop the mogul. He liked to sample the new talent. He was sampling her on a fairly regular basis, but he was also involved with the current A-plus list singer who was in his face every day. And this could allegedly be Beyonce. The thing is, though, that corn star in charge of her career was feuding with the mogul and told the mogul he would not be allowed to hook up with the singer again. I assume he thought the mogul would think she was something special. Apparently not as special as the current A-plus lister, because the new signee was dropped and the word was put out on the street. No record deals for her from any label. When someone ignored the edict, they were paid a visit. If the visits were ignored, then other steps were taken. This was a total lockdown of a career that lasted almost a decade.
When Cathy passed suddenly, the day before she was reportedly preparing to speak out, the internet exploded. And just as quickly, everything went quiet again. Papers sealed, questions ignored, rumors brushed off as conspiracy theories. But the timing? The circumstances? The silence? Fans never forgot. And neither did Blu Cantrell. Because according to Blu, her own story and Cathy's story were never separate, not the way people think. Blu claims that what she experienced, the pressure, the fear, the sudden career collapse, wasn't just about her. It was about protecting something bigger, something the world didn't know yet, something that would eventually become one of the most famous children on the planet, Blue Ivy Carter. Now here's where everything shifts. Blu says the industry always knew there were buried secrets. She says insiders knew Jay-Z had past relationships that overlapped, blurred, and complicated everything. And she says one of those relationships left behind a truth that never saw daylight. Blu claims that Cathy White was carrying Jay-Z's child. That part isn't new. Rumors like that have been floating around for years. But what Blu is saying now, at 49, is the part that no one ever guessed, that the child Cathy was supposedly carrying was connected to the story of Blue Ivy. Not biologically in the way people assume, Blu isn't claiming Blue Ivy was literally switched at birth or anything outrageous like that, but in the sense of legacy, timing, identity, and what had to be erased for the Carter dynasty to remain untouchable. According to Blu, the truth about Cathy White had to be buried so that the public would only ever see one version of Jay-Z: the doting husband, the powerful partner, the family man, the man who built an empire next to Beyonce. Blu says Cathy's story threatened all of that. Her pregnancy threatened it. Her plan to speak out threatened it. And Blu believes that the pain, the silence, and the disappearance of certain women in Jay-Z's past weren't coincidences, they were consequences. Here's where the twist hits harder than anyone expects. Blu says she wasn't just a witness to that era. She says she felt the consequences too. She says she lost her career, her stability, and almost her life because she got too close to truths that weren't supposed to be spoken. And now she's putting her own story next to Cathy White's, not because their experiences were identical, but because she says they were part of the same system. A system where certain women were protected, certain women were silenced, and certain narratives were rewritten to create the perfect Carter storyline. But here's what makes the internet shake. Blu says that the secrecy around Blue Ivy's birth, the timing, the media blackout, the lack of photos, the sudden disappearance of certain industry figures wasn't just normal celebrity privacy. She believes it was strategic, carefully controlled, and connected to unfinished business involving Cathy White. Blu's words now aren't soft, they aren't hesitant. She speaks like someone who's been holding this weight for far too long. She talks about fear, about threats, about feeling like she was being watched. And every time she brings up Cathy's name, her voice changes. It gets heavier, more emotional, like she's finally saying what she wished she'd said years ago, that Cathy didn't just vanish from the story, she was erased from it. Blu says Cathy deserved her truth. Her child deserved their truth. And that truth was buried so deep that the world never connected the dots. But people are connecting them now, because Blu is naming the patterns aloud. She talks about how women were pushed aside, how careers suddenly died without explanation, how the moment someone became inconvenient, a machine bigger than any one person shut them down completely. And when she mentions Blue Ivy, she does it carefully, respectfully, as if she knows the child is innocent in all this. She isn't blaming her, she isn't accusing her. She's exposing the adults, the decisions, the secrets surrounding the family name before Blue Ivy was even born. Blu says Blue Ivy's existence became the final version of the story, the sanitized, safe, marketable version, while everything that came before had to disappear. And Cathy White? Blu says Cathy was the unfinished chapter the world never got to read. Now here's where the emotional weight hits hardest. Blu talks about guilt. Not guilt for anything she did, but guilt for everything she couldn't stop. She says she watched a young woman lose her voice, lose her story, and ultimately lose her life without getting the chance to defend herself. She says she regrets not speaking up sooner. She regrets letting fear win. She regrets letting men decide what was safe to talk about. And as she speaks now, at 49, she sounds like someone trying to reclaim not just her own truth, but Cathy's too. She says the industry may never admit what really happened. She says the Carters will never acknowledge the rumors. And she says Blue Ivy should grow up knowing her name wasn't chosen by accident. Blu believes it was symbolic, a tribute, a shadow of a buried truth. Now, whether people believe her or not is another story. Some say Blu is finally unburdening herself. Others think she's reopening old wounds for closure. And many fans, especially those who followed the Cathy White rumors for years, can't ignore how many pieces of the puzzle suddenly click when Blu speaks. But one thing is undeniable: her words have ignited a firestorm. People are revisiting old reports, old interviews, old timelines that never quite added up. And the deeper they look, the more unsettling the entire picture becomes. Because whether Blu is right or wrong, she's tapping into something that has lived in the shadows for too long. The stories of the women who disappeared from the narrative while the empire kept rising. Her message isn't about tearing down Blue Ivy. It's about revealing the truth behind the legacy she was born into. A truth Blu says was built on silence, sacrifice, and stories the world was never allowed to hear. And when Blu ends her message, she doesn't whisper. She doesn't break. She stands firm and says, "If Cathy were here today, the world would be very different. And if I stay quiet now, then what happened to her happens all over again." Whether the world believes her or not, she finally told her truth. And the industry may never recover from what she's reopened. Because once a buried story rises, it doesn't disappear again. It haunts. It lingers. It forces people to look at the gaps they ignored. And Blu Cantrell just made sure Cathy White's name will never be forgotten again.